broadcasting a new paradigm on the One Network. Hello and welcome everybody back to another update with Kiri Campbell over in New Zealand. Brian Kelly's been able to join us today from Bali. So, Kiri, where the hell are you, woman? What are you doing over there?
I'm right here.
Where are you?
We're just with our team at the moment, and we've had a lovely training day today. And you know, here in Aotearoa, we're, like I said, we're a really spiritual people, and we love our waiata, which is song, and karakia. So that to us we hold quite dearly. So we've got a bit of a song that we want to share out to the world today. Actually, we've got two. So yeah, this is for everyone watching.
Oh, what a treat. Awesome. Thank you.
Bring it on. Ancestor of the Ngāpuhi Nation here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, which is the biggest nation here. And it talked about his two sons and how they came together and accepted each other in the lands. The last song that we sang was about Rise Up, O Nation. Those of Ngāpuhi, and especially right now, the whole world needs to rise up to this occasion. And the song leads on to talking about how we are able to conquer this great giant that we're about to attack, and that we're able to do it with love and with all these things that the spiritual aspects gives to us. So our mihi to you, our speech to you in our tongue. Tēnā koutou I whakarungo mai ki tēnei o mātou I roto o Ngāpuhi, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Kia ora. Ow!
How's that, Patel?
Yeah. Standing ovation.
Was beautiful. And I have to say, how many potential financial or bartering or whatever systems you want to call it started with something like that?
Absolutely.
And with that intent and with that beautiful work. Everybody, give them all. It's up to you. You have to go around and give them all a big kiss from us.
Yeah, big kisses, everyone.
Thank you.
Someone just said that was insane. So humbled to be a part of that.
That was Mel.
Yeah, so the update is today we've just been doing some training with our team up here in the Northland. We've got teams situated all over the country that are waiting for us to connect with them, but we're getting getting Northland sorted. So our job really is to tackle this one community at a time. The update in regards to the Now, we got one of our sources let us know that there was going to be another article put out by the Herald. And funnily enough, Susan Edmonds, who wrote the first article, she wrote to me today and she said, oh, thanks for accepting my friend request, and would you be willing to do an interview? And I said, absolutely. So I said to her, listen, I'm going to send you some documents and need you to read them, understand them, sign them before any interview can take place. So what I think she was contacting me for was to prepare herself for this big article that was meant to be coming out tomorrow.
Written by her or by someone else?
I think it's her. That's why she's made contact with me today. And we're happy to do that. But in order to do that, she knows that she's got to sign some documents, and she's not to alter or distort the understanding according to our understanding. And they're not to try and manipulate that according to their own understanding. So that's what the contract basically says. So we're looking forward to that. She says she's going to be here next week, Sunday. So I'm wondering if the article that's meant to go out tomorrow is actually going to go out. And what they don't realise is that we actually have eyes and ears everywhere. Eyes and ears on this side of the fence, eyes and ears on that side of the fence. So what that means is it's just giving you an example of how everyone, no matter what side of the fence they're on, they're all working together to be able to make the change or be a part of that change. And that's sort of just wonderful for us here in New Zealand and the rest of the world. So we plan on setting that blueprint for the rest of the world to take and share it out to their people. But we wanted to share those songs, because there's a vibration in that song that just cancels out any sort of negativity whatsoever. So it really drives home. It really touches the heart. And we wanted to share that with the world today.
Kiri, one of the comments that came in the Credit Exchange discussion room, they said, Carol said, the Aboriginal have it, know it, and feel it. All the crap we've been indoctrinated with, I am so happy. My eyes are wide open now. Thank you, love. And so that's exactly the same way I feel too. I mean, I think that what you just did in there set a beautiful energetic for what you guys are creating as what's clearly a very tight family. And this is going to blow people away. And I really hope that while everybody goes through this process of learning and understanding and trying to really kind of wrap their heads around what it is that you're doing, they remember this, and they take that into consideration as they're trying to figure things out and navigate this terrain. And so just from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody there that did that. I'm just so blessed and honored to be a part of this call and what you guys are creating. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Now, Kiri, what else went down today? Have you managed to get the swiping that we've all been waiting for?
So our contact guy who liaisons with Paymark, and you might have to edit that out. They've just asked if we would.
We're live, love. There's no editing it out.
Okay, sorry. Bugger it. They've just asked if we'll just, they're a bit nervous. So, you've got to understand that they're still on that side of the fence, but still very happy to support us. Now, Patrick, who's our guy that looks after those things, he's going to message us back on Monday and let us know when we're ready to go with the swipe. So if we get the response back on Monday, we're going to organise for our film crew on the Tuesday, and we're going to do a live stream with the swipe, which we are happy to invite you to that live feed to the world. And also we're going to have our own camera crew there, as well as Tautoko FM to come in and do this all live. So there's no distortion of the facts, no distortion of the evidence, no distortion of the truth. It is what you see, you get what you see, and this is all about transparency and leading the way and how to set up a system that has full transparency.
Okay. So are you in a position now? Do you have time to go through some questions? Because we've had quite a few put forward.
Hey, you just arrived at questions time, so fire away.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I've actually kind of got one of my own in terms of the financial, you said it was set to the New Zealand dollar 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So what's built into the system, if anything, to deal with inflation or a crippling of the New Zealand dollar or people's stupidity and greed and deciding that, I want 1 million credits from my clapped out Toyota, things like that?
The way that we've set it up now, when we say it's a unit for unit with the New Zealand dollar, we mean that we don't mean that in terms of the normal sense. So it could be the same for you. So credits would be a unit for unit value exchange with the Australian dollar or the Canadian dollar, right across the board. What have we got in place? Well, the way that we've set it up is that it's run by the community. So it's going to be very hard, and not only that, the reporting on it happens weekly, which means if there's anyone there abusing it, 9 times out of 10, your branch manager, they're all locals, so they're going to be able to spot that in the reporting. And if there's any sort of abuse to the system, it means that branch manager or whatever area you're in where you're using credit exchange systems, that branch will actually put systems into place so that it can't be abused. And we do that by tracking, providing reports on a weekly basis to be able to track where the credits are going, what people are doing with them, how they're spending them. If someone's just sort of wasting their credits and not being productive about it, because the trick is to help you to meet your basic necessities, to take the struggle out of life so that you can step into a creator role and start giving back to the community according to what motivates you, what your skills are, and sort of, what your aspirations are. What have you always wanted to be or do? So it's based on those principles, and it's going to be very hard. I mean, I know for a fact if any of our members here called up our local branch manager and said, "Oh, I'm Johnny Wilson," and then they called up again and said, "Oh, I'm Johnny Do-Gooder," it's going to be really hard because it's a community-run thing, run and owned by the community. It's going to be really, really hard for people to abuse it. And I mean, we haven't thought of everything. So our method is that we deal with it as it comes, and it's at the speed of the correction. So the moment we identify that there's a problem, we get in there, we correct it, and we put it back on the road again, and we say, right, off you go. Yeah. We've got to understand that a lot of people have been hurt in the system, in this capitalist society, and so there's a lot of clean-up work to do. So people need to understand patience is a virtue, understanding that there's been more hurt in this world than good, which means the cleanup is going to be massive. So people just need to learn to just take in some understanding, and if they can't, at least try and attempt to try and understand where people are at and in their positions.
Beautiful, thank you. Brian, did you have a question?
Yeah, one of the questions. Yeah, sure, that's great. Thank you, Lisa. One of the questions that people have posed to me a few times, Kiri, that we touched on a little bit, but you didn't really have a chance to elaborate on it last time, is the franchise model and the $5,000 that people pay to start a franchise. Now, I think I don't know the answer to this, but it's probably better that it comes from you.
Yeah.
Someone said, well, if I want to get involved, there is some confusion of, do I have to pay $5,000 to buy a franchise? And so, can you explain, in your own words and based on the plan, how that franchise model will be used and what people can do to start gearing up to get involved in a franchise and what that system looks like?
Yeah, so we offer 2 franchises at the moment to be able to get this out into your community so you can start providing the product, services and all the benefits that come with it. So the first one is a mobile branch franchise. Now that there would cost you about $10,000, but with the package, you get yourself a nice sporty little car. Actually, I could take you to go and have a look at it. And now the car itself is worth $10,000. So when you look at the fact that we're charging $10,000 for a franchise package, that you get a really, really gorgeous car. It comes with all the branding. It comes with your laptop. It comes with your back office, your mobile phone, all your equipment, and all your products and tools, including your readers, your cards, that you need to be able to go out there and give this to other people in your community. So that's the mobile branch franchise.
You said car that you drive, not card,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, hang on. Actually, I'm going to take you to go and look at it now that we're streaming live. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
You'll have to excuse this one here because it's been out on the dirt roads. But you can't actually see that, can you? I can't actually see
it. Go down a
little
bit.
Can you see it?
Yeah. So it's got a wrap around it. Okay, and it's got all the phone numbers. So for the people that want to do this version of the franchise, they get that car,
yes,
and all those other things also. So they're basically it's like a driving advertisement on wheels that you're just driving.
It certainly is. Not only that,
how are the cars provided for the price?
Oh, okay. That's a secret. I'm going to have to get you to sign a non-disclosure. No. Listen, we've got some awesome suppliers. You know, I've been underground for a little while putting this all together, but we've got some awesome suppliers who will actually supply those to us at wholesale price. So everything that we've set up is highly affordable and achievable. So put it this way, let's say you didn't have the $10,000 to be able to buy a mobile franchise. You could get together with your group or your community and all put in for that. So, I mean, in order to be able to give these services or give it to your community, you have to having that mobile branch would be the easiest way to be able to get about and do your business. Not only that, it gives you an opportunity to now earn an income for your community. So your community will earn a funny money or a cash income from the sales of cards, readers, and other mobile franchises and branches in there. And let's say, for your example, in Australia. So I mean, there's lots of value in that. And we've got really good suppliers who will supply all of those things. So it's a turnkey business. So it's got everything there, and you can barely buy a good car for 10 grand, let alone a whole business.
Well, here's going to be the follow-up question that everybody wants me to ask, because I can feel it burning already, and I'm not even in any chat rooms right now. There's a lot of people that are, they're interested in this. One of the major interests in, let me put it this way, in this is getting away from fiat currency as much as humanly possible. And so people are going to want to know, how do I get involved in this? How do I bring it into my area using as little fiat currency as imaginable? If I don't want all those other awesome tools that it comes with, I don't want a car, I got my own computer, I just need the bare essentials. What would you say to those people, and how would that work?
Bare essentials. Well, if you want the bare essentials, that would just go out there and promote it and bring about awareness within your community. No one's obligated to buy anything. You can go out, you can learn by taking the information from our site. Also, these live TV streams that we're doing, and you just go out and make your community aware. Get a good group behind you. I was really fortunate that I've got a massive team here, and you can see the bond with our team is really strong. So you need to get some good people behind you who are dedicated to this, who are hungry for it, and they want that change. And all you need to do is just make your community aware. So bring the awareness out by sharing the new principles, the new way, the new earth. It's the new earth that's starting to unfold, really, because that old one has had its time.
The question came up one of the earlier shows that we did about what's the best way to move forward in terms of getting retailers on board. And in a conversation that I had off air afterwards, I really felt that, honestly, the best thing to do was to try and get as many people in your local community on board as possible, so that then you can approach the retailers and bring pressure to bear and say, we've got 1,000, 5,000, whatever, people right here in this community who will shop here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you play with us. Which brings me to the other question. Just for clarification, I know we've gone over it before, but current businesses need to be able to, at the end of the month or the end of the week, whatever the case may be, cash out some of those credits into FRNs in order to maintain the flow of their own business.
Yeah.
So how certain are you at this point that is actually going to move forward? Because that is going to be the only block to shops, and retailers, and service providers coming on board?
Yeah, we identified that way back in the beginning. So the systems that we put together would be employing SWIFT systems. So I'm 100% certain. And not only that, the team that I have in Auckland that are putting these together, they are also 100% certain that those SWIFT systems are available for us.
So how do you even get HSBC and SWIFT to play? Really?
Well, there's SWIFT for bankers, but then there's SWIFT for corporates. So the company that we've employed to be able to manage that whole thing for us, they will actually go in there, set themselves up, which it's already in the process.
The question that people are going to want to know is, how is that even possible? If you got the people that are way up the chain saying that are pulling all the puppet strings, that are saying, if you guys do this, you know, you're going to be in serious dog doo-doo. You know what I mean? Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, it is possible. You know, we've built ourselves an illusion thinking that this is only available to banks. Our job was to squash all of that and prove without a doubt that anyone can do this, provided they did their research, they did their investigations. It's very much possible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flick you some case studies where GE are currently doing it. So GE Money utilise SwiftNet systems, and what they do is they, you know, when a GE offer you like a GEM Visa or something, or a GE credit line card, they're not actually giving you any cash. All they're giving you is digits on a computer. Now, in order for them to do that and route access into the bank, they need SwiftNet corporate to bank systems. So that's how GE are able to take GE Web Money, which is just trade dollars, and route it through Swift corporate to bank SwiftNet systems and have it land in any one of their hundreds of banks. Okay. And our company, now I told you, the company that I employed to put all this together for me, they ain't just anybody. Our company has got a good reputation. They're situated all around the world. They've also got links into these places, so that we've got a door wide open for us.
And they fully grasp what Credit Exchange is all about.
Absolutely. They're right behind us. In fact, I was talking with him the other day and he just says to me, Kitty, you're a leader in this. I'm so proud and it's really good to see.
So can we know who that is, or is it too premature?
Oh, no, absolutely. No, he's not hiding anything.
No, the company itself.
Oh, yeah, it's Evolution Barter Software and the web company. So they are like the top dogs here in New Zealand at the moment. Actually, they're going to be the top dogs in the world. They're going to be leading the world, and I think that's why they're excited.
I mean, I understand why you're not making that service available for individuals.
Yeah.
Because if people could become part of Credit Exchange, get 1 million credits, cash it out into FRNs, that's all they do, and they walk away. It'll defeat the purpose, and there's no transition. So I get that. But it is vital for existing businesses.
We need it for now. The theories that were put together way back in the beginning were that you would only need to run the system for a year or two before everything could fully convert. Because now it means that we've got a little package that we're going to be putting together for businesses to begin with, so that they can move their systems out of the FRN system and convert fully into credits. But it's still just a transition.
I mean, to me, the sales pitch is a no-brainer. Sorry, Brian. I mean, if they can cash out into the FRNs that they need in order to keep their businesses running, and you can present them with, here you've got a customer base that is struggling. I mean, if people want to do some research into the demographics in their local area, maybe they've got maybe it's a lot of struggling families, maybe it's a lot of pensioners, maybe it's a lot of unemployed. Figure out what the demographic is in your area to use that as part of your sort of sales pitch. Absolutely. Here you've got this client base that's struggling. Here you've got a client base that is abundant, endlessly abundant, essentially, and wanting to play. You can play in both camps and in both worlds for now. Yep. There is no reason not to.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay,
Kiri,
go for it, bro.
Okay, thanks. Sheila McFarland was nice enough to compile a list of questions, and so we might as well use this as a guide so we can make sure that people's questions get answered, and we take the opportunity to make sure that we give the information that people are looking for. A few of these questions in the beginning are ones that I've heard before and kind of go together. And so I'll just ask them all as one, as two or three. So they want to know who or what determines how much value is issued to me, whether annually or in total. Who or what determines how those credits can be spent. And then what happens if my account goes down to zero balance and I have no more access to no more credit? Can you just kind of wrap that into, explaining how that process works?
Yeah, so here in Aotearoa, what we're doing is we're setting the blueprints. Now, it might not be the same here in New Zealand as it is in Australia, but the blueprint that we set will give you a good guideline to go off. And what we've done is we've brought in experts in budgeting and all those kinds of things to just give us a sort of rounded off figure of what a single person with no children would need, what a single parent with a child would need, a couple with no children, a couple with children, and then your elderly over the age of 65. So we've got a budget advisor that will actually go in and set those values. But really, it's based on, like, let's say you and Lisa start something in Australia, and then you pull your team in. It's really based on whatever's happening in your country. So what's happening here in New Zealand is not going to be the same in Australia, give or take, whichever way you want to look at it. But it's just a matter of going off the blueprint that we've set here in New Zealand, taking it to Australia, and then just giving or taking a little or adding a little bit more. We understand in Australia there's way more people. So like Lisa said, it's all about the demographics, and you work it out with the demographics. But beauty of it is that the template or the blueprint has already been set. So you've got a guideline to start from. Got it.
So what people need to do here in this scenario is they need to detach from the concept of getting access to their strawman account and their $10 billion. I think that there's too much of interconnectedness, and that's what people think they're hoping. Why is my $10 billion being regulated? Why can't I have it all now? And what people need to understand with this program, with this system, is it's not designed to make everybody rich. It's designed to give everybody breathing room. Studies have been shown that people find the most happiness from three things in life: meaning, hope, and purpose. And I think that what this system does is it gives people the foundation to start to look for those things and how to create understanding around those things, how to find meaning. What would I do? What can I do to find more meaning, more purpose in my life? And if I can not worry about having to buy bread and keep a roof over my head and pay for utilities, then I'm on my way to be able to go through that self-discovery process. So I think that's kind of one of the big things for all those people that are watching this. Let go of the attachment and the idea of the whole 10 billion. Just because that was on the OPPT filings does not mean that this system is designed to give people access to that. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say something about that. Those accounts that are being held by government, they are not ours. They never have been. That was an illusion created which took the value outside of ourselves. And if we know who we are, then we know the value never existed outside of ourselves. It was what better place to hide it inside of ourselves, where we didn't even know it ourselves. So those accounts, anyone chasing after those accounts, it was a big. I don't know who started that, but man, they need to be pulled in a room and had some good words spoken to them. Because it kept us distracted from the truth that we were the value. It meant that we kept looking for this value outside of ourselves. We are never going to find it. I can tell you this right now. If anyone could have found it, it would have been me. I would have found it, but I'm telling you now.
And you know what, Kiri? You're worth way more than $10 billion. Let me tell you.
Absolutely, we're limitless.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want people to attach that $10 billion value to themselves, because it's not about that. Eventually, with the credit exchange system, where we see this going is that people will then understand that there's no real need to top up. What we're doing is we're taking people through the being and doing of getting used to this new way. And once they're used to it and they know it inside out, then they'll basically go up the level in their consciousness and in their conscious state, and know that the value is here. It's not outside of ourselves. We don't need to be topping up a card eventually, because we'll just know that it'll be based on need. So as the need is generated, then the thing becomes available. That means this heaven on earth can basically come about. That doesn't have any poverty. It doesn't have debt. Nothing rusts here, because anytime it does, it's replenished. So you can now begin to see where and how the heaven on earth is going to be made, purely because of this whole new understanding that we're now ready to embark on.
Brilliant.
Nicely said.
Nice. You want to go?
Well, I have to step back, because there's still some confusion around the franchise. It's the question in the chat room states 10K flat fiat, for a mobile. Website states 5 for the other one. So question is there only fiat, or can you use credits, combination of fiat and credits, or is there a way for in order to minimize the number of fiats?
Yeah. So the one that they're looking at there says 5 is a mobile store. So what that is it's like a little kiosk.
A booth. Yeah.
Yeah, inside a Foursquare or a supermarket. So that's a completely different franchise. Now, at the moment, while we're transitioning, we have to pay fiat to be able to get these things. But eventually, as the demand grows, then what happens to that fiat? It starts to devalue. So we can't expect that change until the fiat devalues. As soon as it does, and the majority of us are no longer accepting those legal tenders or those FRNs, then it's going to be the credit system that's going to have all the value, which means those credits are just as good as what cash is today.
Sorry. I hope that answers the question for Mark in the chat room. Let me know if it doesn't. Moving on to some of the others that we've seen. Go for it, Brian, while I find them again.
Can you, Kiri, talk about where the 10% commission goes again? I'm pretty sure we covered it in the first call, but that seems to be a burning one also.
Yeah, so are you referring to where does the 10% commission go, or how is it? Okay.
Yeah, where does it go? Where does it go, and why is there a need?
Yeah, so what we did, now we'll use Kaikohe, which is where we're at the moment. We'll use that for an example. Now, Kaikohe, there's about 4,000 to 5,000 people in this town. What happens is as members are circulating credits and debits among themselves, there's no need for profit. So what it means is businesses can expand and do what they do. But where were we going with this? Repeat your question again.
About 10%.
Yeah, so what we did was we set up CVACs. So Kaikohe would have its own CVAC, which means that money is routed back to CVAC. So 20% is taken for the overall running costs, whether it be the cash or the credit. 20% is taken for the overall running costs and the commission, but the rest of it, the 80% of it, goes back into the CVAC, which means that Kaikohe as a community operating a CVAC now doesn't have to depend on banks to go and get their swimming pool or their art gallery. All the funds are sitting there, or the resources are sitting there in their CVAC for them to access when their town or their community needs something. Hope that answers your question.
I think so. The breakdown that you just gave was of the 10%.
Yeah.
Right. So 10% of that 10% and 20% of that 10%.
Can't see you.
What's going on there?
20% is taken for overall expenses, but the 80% goes back to the CVAC. So it's all just 10. Everyone's clocking 10. The mobile branch manager, they're getting 10% commission. And then the rest of the resources are pooled for that particular community.
And they're taking it in credits
and cash until the demand has become greater. Once the demand has become greater than the demand for credits has become greater than the demand for fiat money, it's at that point that the fiat money will disappear and we'll do a full conversion to credits.
Okay,
But at the moment, if you look at it, fiat is dominating. So, you know, you go down to a business owner who's not awake and you say, oh, look, I'm going to swipe my credits. Can I pay with credits? They go, no, I want cash. But even a business owner doesn't even understand the difference between credit and cash. So the business thinks that the money that they get in the bank is cash or you know, but it's not. It's credit. It's exactly the same as the credit that we're giving out. It's no different. The stuff that's being withdrawn from the ATM machine is cash. So you go back and ask the business, why are you getting cash in your bank or are you getting credit? They're actually getting credit, but the only difference is the bank allow them to go and draw out those FRNs. But it's those FRNs and those legal tenders that are causing all of this problem. So eventually, once that demand for it starts to dissipate, that's when we're going to see the biggest changes and the biggest conversions. That's where people can now go onto the website, apply for a credit boost. The same, you know how we planned back in 2013 to approach the banks and say, right, I want to access my value. I'm going to pay you a 10% discount fee for doing that. Well, rather than having that debited from us, we're creating it on top of. Now, that system there, when there's a big enough demand for that system, people will be able to buy their cars or their homes with credits. They won't have to dig into their pockets. Now, in order to get your credit boost anyway, you don't have to dig into your pockets. You just go on and apply. And then what we do is, let's say you applied for 1,000. So we create the 1,000 the same way the banks do. Then we create the 10% fee of 100. And then that 100 is taken back to the Credit Exchange branch, which will then be divvied up and then eventually end up in the CVAC, and you walk away with your 1,000. And that's how we are able to offer no debt, no lingering repayments, no interest, and all of those things. So already you can see the benefits of using credits far outweighs the benefits of using FRNs.
No arguments. Just want to confirm, I know it's been said before, but we've got to get this confirmed.
Yeah.
All the research and development that's happened up to this point has been backed and financed by yourself.
Yes, it has been. Myself and one other. We just got another one jump on board just the other day. But yeah, everything's been done by myself and my team, all the research. Yeah.
But the actual cost, there's no outside backer, there's no financer.
I took out a personal loan.
Now that's the irony of that is.
I know. Funny, eh? But I believed in it that much that I was willing to go back down that road.
That's beautiful.
And so I haven't. I'm not putting any expenses onto anyone. I've tried to meet the expenses all myself. But like I said, once we take it to other countries, you're going to need a little bit of resources. We've had to do mail, we've had to create marketing brochures. So all of that, while FRNs are dominating, we've actually had to fork out of our pocket to pay for the car, the marketing materials, the banners, everything that you see with the Credit Exchange, the website, the design of the website, the software. The software was a major expense because what we did was we took a barter software and we had it customized. So that's why some people will be seeing some things barter on there. And I wrote to Patrick and I said, remove that word barter because we're not got nothing to do with barter. We're smarter, I told you. And but no, you're right. It's all been backed by myself and my team that are sitting here. And beautiful. Trust me when I say we've got some pretty smart cookies on board. Not only that, we've got
no doubt.
Eyes and ears, and we've got some good networks.
Now, another question came up in terms of all these teams you talk about, members, board members, or people who are in administrative and supervisory roles. Are they currently or will be taking wages or salaries, and if so, in what form?
Yeah, at the moment we're all doing it for because we believe in it, but eventually a budget will be set so that they can, and eventually we want to get it to the stage where we're not having to collect any FRNs or legal tenders, and everyone can be paid out in credits because they'll be no different to what we currently got.
Okay, Brian, are you actually there and unfrozen? Are you with us? Don't think he can hear me right now. He's looking confused. Okay. Okay, we've covered that one and that one. Who will be overseeing that the procedures and protocols are being adhered to regarding all of these franchises?
Yeah. So basically, you'll need to, like here in New Zealand, we have a team that oversees everything. So we have two boards. We have the founding board, and then we have our board who's on the front line, so who's out there promoting it. And between that, it becomes a shared responsibility. So in your country, you'd need to have that same setup. So it becomes a shared responsibility between people in your country for your people.
Gotcha. Brian, are you with us again?
That's your cue.
He's having issues. Okay, I'll keep going. Who or what determines my intrinsic value and amount issued annually or in total? I think you kind of covered that already. Who has the authority to say what I can and cannot spend credits on?
Well, basically, our credit exchange system was designed to build families, not destroy them. So there's a lot of things. There's things in there that we won't even allow to be brought into the arena, like cigarettes, alcohol, those sorts of things. If you want to do that, you have to go and pull out your FRNs to do that. Because when we're about, and you know what, in saying that, we also understand that those that sort of have those sort of dependencies, you know, when you're doing something that you love and that you're motivated by, you sort of don't, you know, you're operating in a different vibration. So having those sorts of dependencies become less and less as I suppose you're raising your own vibrations. In terms of who determines your value, I don't think we should be putting a value on ourselves. As long as we're alive and kicking, then we're entitled to the basic necessities of life. We're also entitled to the benefits of life and you know, the good things that life comes with. But it does need to be regulated because we're all still learning this.
And as you said, as problems come up, as issues arise, as needs change, as consciousness changes, all of this will be tweaked as we go.
Yes, it has to be, because it has to be a flexible system. Like I said, it has to be like water. Because if it's hard and rigid, it doesn't work. If it doesn't know how to bend, shape and shift to go with the, to be able to accommodate all the needs, then it's no different to any of these other systems that we've currently got, which only accommodates for one set of needs. So the system does have to be flexible, which means, as the needs grow, as the changes are taking place in the community, as the consciousness is raising, all of those things start to speed up and change as well.
Okay, distributors and setting up in other countries. I'll tell you what, there's so many countries who are in right now. They want this yesterday. Excuse me. I guess for those countries outside of New Zealand, just start putting your teams together in your communities and just lay that foundation first. Start bringing those people together so that when you are ready to roll out, you can hit the ground running.
That's right. And you do have to get your people behind you, because without your people behind you, it's going to be very, very hard. So when I first started out, it was just myself, and I tried to keep it, you know, I went underground with it, and I kept it on the down low purely because I wanted to get this thing finished before it actually popped up and surfaced. But what I realised is that it doesn't work that way. One person can't do it. Many hands make light work. So you need to prepare your communities, make the awareness, bring about the awareness with your people, have meetings, have family meetings, have community meetings, and really, really, you know, bring about the awareness and make sure you've got the people there that want to back it, because they will be your driving force to get it out there, because you will be met with some challenges. We've been met with massive hurdles to overcome, but we've overcome every single one of them, including that article that was put in the Herald. So just deal with it as it comes. The worst thing you could do is overload yourself with too much what ifs and buts and too much matter. You really need to just get rid of all of the matter and everything that you thought of and believed in. Really, you need to erase that and wipe your slate clean, and now transform yourself into being a sponge by taking in all this information and then translating it to rebuild your building blocks.
Understood. Okay, someone's wondering if they live half the year, in one country and half the year in another, do they have to get two different cards? Is it going to be two different systems? When you roll out from beyond New Zealand, let's say we get creditexchange.com.au for Australia, are those two going to talk to each other? Is it going to be one global platform?
What it'll be is each country will have their own system. It's better that way. And then what we do is all those countries can now link up with one another. So if I wanted to, let's say the whole system's functioning, it's operating, we've got millions of members in there, and I want to send something over to Canada, I can do that. But it needs to be managed in each country. Okay. So each country will need to be given their own systems and stuff, but those systems will be able to talk with one another, which now opens us up to an international global marketplace.
Why is there a 1 year expiration on the cards? And is it $40 every year or just once?
Yeah, no, it's $40 every year purely because that was the strategy that we employed to be able to pull in enough people, I suppose, and enough resources. Because you've got to remember, while you're putting your systems together and getting them all set up, we still need to have that Federal Reserve note system that's pretty much dominating everything at the moment. Let's say the world woke up tomorrow and decided, nah, we don't want to do that anymore. We're going to boycott the legal tenders. Then this whole system would flip completely and it would convert to credits automatically.
So you're saying the cost of the cards, keeping the cost of the cards to a minimum at this point, was to do them annually?
Yeah. And not only that, it provided us with the income, I suppose, to come in to be able to now drive the rest of the stages. So the second stage of getting the credit exchange set up was now converting or repurposing all of those businesses and whatnot. So it gave us enough funding to be able to do that as well. Also, what we intend on doing with that Federal Reserve notes that are coming in, we intend on now using that to buy back the businesses and have them converted to the credit exchange system, buy back real estate, buy back property, rentals, have all those things converted, and just start slowly converting all of them to the credit system. Not only that, I just want to make out another. I just want to put another point out. If you look at how much you fork out in bank fees, people fork out between $30 and $100 a month easily, $30 and more, especially if you're a business. So for $40 a year is not a huge amount of investment, considering the benefits that come with that investment. And it won't be for long. I could say, in fact, after about 3 years and everyone's converted, there'll be no need for any of that.
Well, speaking of the fact that it's all electronic, though, we've kind of had the bejesus scared out of us with the whole one world currency, electronic currency concept. So it does make people nervous, but also the fact that it can be vulnerable. Someone reminded us that, what was it, a 14-year-old kid hacked into Chase Manhattan at one point. So how secure is it?
It's at the moment we're told that we have got the best encrypted system on this planet.
Where did it come from? Who wrote it?
Evolution Butter Software did, but I think they've gone and employed another company to do so. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Outsourced it to someone even better.
Well, yeah, I could be wrong, but I'll double check that.
Okay.
And you know what? Hang on, I want to touch base on that one world order thing too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of stories out there, and 99% of them are designed to keep our vibrations down, to keep us vibrating in a really, really low frequency, which when we're operating in a low frequency, we're not able to pick up those intuitive messages as well. So, I believe that there was more of a hype put into that sort of fear of the one world order than what we should be giving energy to. Because the boogeyman only exists inside of our mind. And if you actually open up your eyes, you'll see that there is no boogeyman. It's just only happening in here. So people need to understand that. It's all about overcoming your fears. It's all about overcoming these matters. It's all about overcoming these old, tired, worn-out belief systems that don't serve us a purpose anymore.
I actually think it was an attempt to preempt, because I
think so.
I think they knew we were always headed for one world, unity consciousness, a global system that was based on love and cooperation and oneness. So preempt that by creating a very, very scary, dark scenario.
That's right. Which means anyone looking for that would go, oh, no, that's a dark, oh, there's a demon, oh, there's a devil. And I'll put it this way, the world woke up upside down. So everything that we are being told today is actually the opposite. So do the opposite.
They say left, look right. Just for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Brian, I'm going to leave it with you for a minute. I have to go and get a drink of water. So
okay, if I have no idea what I meant.
Well, if you ask a question that I've already covered, Kiri will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me pull up my Evernote where I had my questions, Kiri, real quick. But one of the things I want to say, and it's kind of irrespective of wherever you guys were at in the conversation, is this will be the first time I'm going to cast my opinion on this, because I've tried to take an objective journalist approach, but I want to cast my opinion because I've seen kind of enough to allow me enough data and information to kind of tell people how I feel about it. And how I feel about it is this. This is not the answer. It's one of what will ultimately become many answers. And what it represents is people not waiting and taking action. And people with good hearts, good intentions, that have the best interest of everybody involved, as far as I can see it at this point. Knowing from what I know of you, Kiri, and from what I've seen. Now, so for everybody that's out there that are skeptical, I understand. Be skeptical. But instead of attacking, perhaps consider offering suggestions on how to make it better. You know, if there's something that you see, it's a loose end, it doesn't make sense, instead of pointing a finger and going in and trying to stick your finger in it, say, look, here's what I've noticed, here's what I see, this is a way that you might be able to make it better, and cooperate. You know, this part of the control system is all about getting people to attack one another, divide and conquer. So when we can adopt the spirit of cooperation and collaboration, what we'll see this as is an amazing tool that we want to support. And so think about coming at this from that energetic, because what you guys are doing is not the perfect system. You could prepare for this for 15 years, 20 years, and you'll never create the perfect system, because the perfect system comes as a result of time and energy. And so as this rolls out, you're going to find the flaws. You and many others will find the flaws in it very quickly. But what that's going to do is it's going to provide an incredible opportunity for the system to become better. And as it goes, it will get better. And the challenges will turn into opportunities, and the opportunities will create even better solutions. Now, tell me if I'm off track here.
You're on track, Brian. You nailed it. That's exactly it. You know, I said in the beginning, like I said on the first show on Tuesday, this is not the solution, but it's one solution that will now spark many more solutions to come. And everything that you've just said, you've nailed it. And I get that whole that some people don't get it. I understand that. But come in and take the time to have a look. Come in and offer your expertise. We've got so many experts among us that have the skill to be able to add their piece of the puzzle. So what it is all of us building a picture together, not just Kiri building a picture and everyone getting used to that picture. It's all of us bringing our expertise together to build the picture together. So I'm only one piece of the puzzle.
Awesome. And for everybody that's out there that loves the idea of it, thinks that for whatever reason it's got a fallacy in it that they can't overcome, here's what I would say to you. Make one that's better. You know, you could do this anywhere in the world. The difference is you've taken initiative. You and all those amazing people in that room. First of all, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, BK.
Yeah. And one of my favorite quotes, it's become my favorite, is action beats intention every day of the week. And you guys are in there and you're in that room, you're pouring your hearts and souls into this and you're taking action. And it's action that's been inspired by intention. And the more of us that take action, that know who we are, that stand in our power, that want to create change, the faster that everything is going to, we're going to reach that tipping point that everybody has been, quote unquote, waiting for. Here's a question.
Brian, okay, go for it.
Okay, really quick, and then you can jump back in, Lisa. I've just been offering my 2 cents for the last 60 seconds you've been gone. How encrypted is the software? For example, 10 years ago, a 14-year-old
done that.
Already did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's number 15. Have you gotten to this one, Lisa?
I don't know.
I heard Kiri had her children taken and that the state came down on her hard. How did you keep your children and did you plead guilty and how was it settled? Did you have to make some kind of deal with them when that whole court thing went down? Because that's actually a few people have asked me that.
Yeah. Hang on. My team is here. Have my children been taken by the state? No. Have they ever taken my children? No. Have they ever been successful in taking my children? No. Does that answer your question, Brian?
Yes.
But there's a lot of gossip out there. There's a lot of rumors. And like I say to people, if you didn't hear it from me, then you didn't hear it from the horse.
Okay, so that's perfect, and that answers half that question. Thank you, everyone over there in the room. The other half of the question is, when all that stuff went down, how did you get out of it? What was the ultimate verdict? How were you able to walk away? I know that story's been told, but you might as well tell it from the horse's mouth.
Hey, I was given 200 hours community service, which I never ended up attending the 200 hours community service because I actually had a private agreement with the judge. So do you remember I let you know that I wrote to the judge in his private capacity and I made an offer with him. So the offer was that he was allowed to take that printout and draft the account held in that name, any monies necessary to be able to settle this matter in the private so no further damage was done to the public. And that's how I was able to walk away with it from all of it.
So there was no gag order. You weren't sworn to secrecy or anything like that. That's
no, heck no. Here I am telling the world.
Nice.
I think if that were true, then I'm sure some little men in black suits would be here in no time.
Can you imagine trying to get Kiri to swear to secrecy? Jeez.
But someone, exactly. But someone even said, she got paid out the 15 million and she got a gag order and she's not allowed to tell anyone about it. That's a lie. I never ever got the 15 million because I had still been waiting for the right lawyer to pick that case up and run with it, which I have now. So when I've got some time, once we've got all of this out of the way and the credit exchange is up and running, trust me when I say I'm going back in there.
But you just said not long ago that that's not yours. Is the whole purpose of that just an educational exercise?
What they need to do is I need to be redeemed from all of that horrible stuff that they put out about me, all the lies.
Yep.
That's why I'm going back there, because I deserve that. They put out so many lies about me, it wasn't funny, that turned, quite a few people against me in this country. And that there needs to be corrected.
Yep.
And that's why I'm going back. I'm going back to correct that name.
Okay. I can already feel Biggie saying we need to broadcast that live on CCN as it goes down. So I energetically, I'm picking up on that. He didn't write a comment in the chat or anything. However, real quickly, so somebody did pose a message in Skype saying if we could go jump to question 8 real quick. So if I can ask another question real quick, Kiri. Question 8 says, are purchases considered in the private, i.e. non-commercial, outside of corporate government central bank debt? That would mean sales tax should not be charged at point of purchase. If staff are paid in credits, shop owners should not be using SIN numbers or taking off income tax either, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Hey, do you know how many times we've heard why are you using IRD numbers and things like that? you know, people need to understand that while that system is still dominating, we need to have things in place that basically cancel any sort of, or allow them the window of opportunity to come in and shut us down before we've been given the opportunity to grow legs. So now, what was the first one you asked?
Are the purchases considered in the private sector, i.e. non-commercial?
Right. Credit Exchange is a closed user group membership-based only operation. So, which means it's all in the private. You are trading and exchanging in your private capacity with other individuals, businesses, and organisations. So the answer to that is yes, private. Next one.
Okay, does that answer your question in the chat, in the Skype, Mark? Hopefully it does. Lisa, you got another one for Kiri from your list?
There was a bit more to that though, wasn't there?
Oh, let me see. What happens, let me see here. That would mean sales tax should not be charged at point of purchase.
Okay, stop right there. Now, when you buy a mobile branch, we're dealing in Federal Reserve notes or legal tender. So at that point, we're actually required, we do charge GST. But when you're inside the credit system, none of that exists. So there's no GST, there's no, you don't even need to put your IRD number. We've actually had that removed from the system. So there's none of that corporation stuff that exists inside the credit exchange. But when, in terms of doing business outside of that, we've got no control over that until we unplug our entity from it.
Okay, so Tony says if it's in the private, then why is GST charged? And I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what you just answered. Yeah,
I just answered that. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I will say is, let me give an example here. There's certain things that you need to do if you want to be able to create an operation like this and have it be successful. There's a reason why we don't get in our cars in the United States, as an example, and drive around at 120 miles an hour on the freeway. Because guess what? You're going to get arrested. Now, is there really a law there that gives you the right to be arrested? Or is it some regulation and statute and code that applies to your corporate fiction? We all know that. But guess what? That's not going to stop you from getting arrested. And you're not going to, most likely, you're not going to be able to get out of it by not subscribing to your corporate fiction. So there's certain things that we have to do in regards to creating a bridge that are going to require a little bit of compromise. And so what I would say is set your margin for allowing that compromise to be a part of the things that we create so as to allow them the opportunity to be and to flourish.
Yeah. Well, the very definition of a bridge is that it spans both worlds. So you need to be accommodating the old temporarily, at least.
You do.
Otherwise, it's not a bridge. It's simply an opt-out and an opt-in, and the two may never meet. And they need to meet for now. Information packages. Sorry, information packages. Well, in terms of educating people on their sovereign status, on how the current financial system works, I mean, do you suggest at this point that people just go off and try and do their own research? Or are you guys actually going to put together an information packet that people can go to the website and download? And also something that they can then move to retail?
Yeah, what we've got, if we've just, we've got a research and a legal team that we're putting together. So in that research team, that'll be where we look at setting ourselves up as a sovereign nation state and all of those things there. So that research team and that legal team will be able to provide those sorts of, make that information and those systems available. But then you've got to remember it's going to be different in every country. So
that may also be where New Earth Nation steps in.
Yeah. The what, sorry?
The New Earth Nation. Because that essentially is a jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And we'll have Greg back on the show next Tuesday, to explain that. But I can see how these could work together. What do you think, Brian, based on what you know, that if New Earth Nation it's essentially a global jurisdiction that is outside of the corporate, and you can take yourself, you can take your community, you can take your land, you can take your whatever, sign it out of the corporate system and into this other jurisdiction. So it may well be that those two can come together in that way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I see that too. Yeah. I mean, Kiri, what we could probably do off air is get you into contact with Sasha Stone and Greg Paul, because one of the biggest things that they're doing going into 2015, and they've already made a lot of progress, is they're aligning themselves with all the indigenous from all around the world. Yeah. And essentially opting out and creating their own, the whole Buckminster Fuller, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And I definitely see amazing synergy here with what you guys are doing and what they're doing.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because that aligns with our talk of, you've got the United Nations, but that sort of services a corporate dead fiction world. Then there should be the balancing of the sovereign United Nations, which is something that exists on its own. So looking at New Earth Nation, I love what Sasha Stone, I love what they've done there. Sasha Stone, he's pretty cool too. And he's kicking with Savan Boma, is that right? What's the relationship between those two?
With who?
Savan. Is it Savan Boma? Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, you guys need to Google him. You need to Google him. He's got good stuff.
Okay, I'm writing that name down. And the credit exchange discussion group, we got some activity in there. So let me just, since we're on, the encryption question. How encrypted is the software? The example is
best in the world.
Okay, yeah, we already did that one. Sorry. Let's see. Comment. People have been working for years on projects that this system can be plugged into. The need of sitting back and just building a network is not always need. So what is the timing of expanding out of New Zealand? And we covered that on the last call, but go ahead and
if these people now, we're looking at making it to Australia this year. We can't give a definite time frame, but we are setting a goal that it's going to be this year. But if there's people already out there around the world, all they need to do is make contact with us and plug in. And if they've got a website, give me the link. Let me know you want to link up, and I'll attach all of that to the Credit Exchange website. And then what they can do is they can take our website and plug it into all of theirs. So now we're all linking in with one another. And that can happen tomorrow. We don't have to wait to do that one. And that's how we can strengthen, I suppose, these reads that we're trying to form.
Well, as you know, I did share this with you earlier. Somebody here in Australia who knows how these things work and has done it before, when something really, really good hits the scene, there's usually a bunch of people who go around and register the domain names in all its versions and try and co-opt it. So this person here in Australia preempted that and did that as a gift, essentially, to Credit Exchange.
Thank
you. We've got .com.au, we've got .eu, we've got all of these websites. So what do you want to do with them? Because they're all there for you.
What that means is now you need to go and link in all those countries. So you'll need to get a delegate from those countries and say, right, here you go, here's your domain, here's yours, and give them out to all those ones in those countries who will drive this. And then all we'll do is we'll link them all in. So you know how you go on a website, PayPal's a great one, it's got all the little flags where you can...
Yes. Have you got a database already going of people, of contacts from around the world, of points of contact or not?
Yeah, we've got a database of people here in New Zealand, but we've only just had our meeting last night in terms of setting up those other databases to process all these ones that are coming in from outside of New Zealand. So that will be up and running by tomorrow. And let's just do it. Let's just plug in.
Okay. Obviously, I'm in talks with Tootie, and
she's
kind of doing things at this end, so it's all happening.
Yeah, Tootie's awesome.
Yeah. Does the individual need to pay back their credits? Okay, does the individual need to pay back their credits allocated to them by offering their services? So this is sort of a question that goes back to the more traditional kind of barter systems. You know, I need credits,
if they want to, but there's no need to, because the moment you go and apply for a credit boost, it's actually paid the moment you apply. It's paid because the mobile branch manager or the branch has received a commission. So there's no need to pay back, but it's about giving back in terms of, what skill have you got and what can you offer your community now that you've got the spare time and you've got all of your you know, everything at home settled. Now you're in a position to be able to start creating, to give back. And that's what we say to our people. It's not about just getting handouts, but use this tool to be able to meet your basic necessities, and so that you can now step out of that struggle for life and now become a creator to give back to your community. And, you know, some people said, oh, nobody will want to work, but that's a lie, because we've already seen it here in our own people who don't work now. And the moment the concept was explained to them, they said, oh my gosh, now I can get my business off the ground, or now I can do this. So you could already see their creator starting to dominate the ego, I suppose.
Brian and Kiri, can I just ask if you've got your Skypes open, to put them on to do not disturb, so that we don't get the little Skype pings?
Oh, that's how you get rid of that. That would be me.
Hang on a minute.
How long have you had a computer for? Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. I don't hide myself. I just do invisible. Sorry. Let me ask let me ask you one more question, and we already covered it. Tony is being very persistent in the Skype room. He said his comment was something along the lines of, yeah, you can't speed on the freeway, but how are they allowing this system that's totally undermining their money system to come to be? I think that the biggest thing that people are looking at, one of them, is they're saying, how is she able to pull this off? And they're using that as, okay, implying that you must be working for someone. Yeah, you see where I'm going with? Because I'll let you actually respond to that and elaborate, because clearly Tony didn't think it was already answered, and then I can add to it from my own personal opinion and experience. But go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that. Yes, I am working for someone. It's called the creator. So yes, Tony, you're right. I am working for someone. I'm an agent for the creator, and here we call him Io, Atua, God, Jesus, whatever. So yes, you're right, Tony. You caught me out.
Okay, let me expand on the question.
But I'll tell you what, we're able to do this because I've taken the time and the research to identify this. I've taken the time and the research to find exactly what needs to go and where. And I haven't done this. I have employed experts to do this. Now, the guy that works for me, that puts all this together for me, we trust him and his team wholeheartedly. And when you actually get an opportunity to meet Patrick and his team in the flesh, my word, they are some of the most nicest, kindest, loving, caring, they emanate with love. And not only that, they designed their software because they were sick and tired of banks. Now, Patrick used to work in the banking industry, and he was quite high up there. And when he realized what it was all about, he got out of that, and he designed a software so that people could now set up their own private banking systems. So that's who's actually, doing most of the hard yards in terms of going into the lion's den and getting these things. But you know what? That takes it back to not everyone's a boogeyman, Tony. Sometimes the system loves to create the boogeyman so that we'll stay away from it. And not everyone is a boogeyman. And like I said, the boogeyman only exists in one's mind. So the faster Tony gets the boogeyman out of his mind will be, the faster that he can actually get on with life and start co-creating with one another.
Let me add to that, and that's a perfect answer, Kiri. Somebody made the comment to me. They said that people have gotten black bags put over their head and tags on their toes for less, and that may be true. However, there's so many whistleblowers, and there's so many people that are going against the grain and against the status quo at this time in human history, more so now than ever before, that you can't possibly take everybody out. And there have been other systems similar, not like this. This is very pioneering. But there are so many other things that people are doing around the world right now that are challenging the status quo, and you can't silence everybody. And one of the best things that you can do when you're creating something like this is you do it publicly. Because when you do it publicly and the world knows about it, and the world is starting to know about this, There's a lot less that they can do to mess with you. There's a lot of safety out there in the public eye. And I just want to add that to what I thought was a brilliantly responded.
Yeah, I want to agree with you there. Now, back when JFK and the likes of those guys that were taken out, when they were doing it, there was the balance was like this. The powers that were way up here, and the ones that were fighting them were probably the 1%. But nowadays, I just want to back up what you're saying. There are more people, you know, that want this. There are more people. In fact, the report that we were given, and I've got some pretty good sources, is that they're all on the run. So they don't have time to come and chase Kiri. Not only that, Kiri's in the spotlight so much that, yeah, good luck to that, because that's why they didn't do anything to me the last time, because they knew I didn't just attract an audience here in New Zealand. I went out viral and I went worldwide. So it was really the public that saved me the first time, and it's going to be the public and the world to get behind this that is going to make this happen for our people. So there are more people that are aware, there are more people that are awake than what there ever has been, and like I said, those that were committing those crimes are now on the run.
Actually, I got two things to say. Brian, this goes back to what you were talking about earlier too, which is, you know, people just attacking and poking fingers. And what I've also seen in a lot of the comments on Facebook and Skype rooms and personal messages is a lot of fence sitting. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna see how this goes. I'm not going to endorse it. I'm not going to attack it, but I'm just gonna sit on the fence.
Yeah.
And if too many of us just sit on the friggin' fence, nothing is going to work. Yeah. It may, I mean, I've backed the wrong horse once or twice before, and I'll probably do it again. But at least I'm backing a horse, and I don't care if I back 9 that fall over lame. If that one comes in, eventually it crosses the line. I don't. At least back something, support something, you know. And like Brian said, then be constructive in your criticism and your attempts to refine it and improve upon it. But if we all just sit on the fence and don't back anything, then we may as well just give up and say we're happy where we are.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing is what you were saying too, Kiri, and the boogeymen, the bankers, whoever, the police, the guys in the military and the top brass, no one's immune from this consciousness shift. And we're seeing it in the numbers of them that are resigning. We're seeing it in the numbers of them who are killing themselves even because they can't live with themselves. We're seeing it, and we're seeing it in terms of even more whistleblowers and anonymous leaks. You know, people are supporting change from within. So
one thing I want to say here, let me go philosophical just for 60 seconds. 9 out of 10 people polled, asking them why they wake up in the morning and do what they do. 9 out of 10 had no response, and that question confused them. They didn't know why they wake up every day and do what they do. What that equals is a purposeless existence. When you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're just doing it to make ends meet, and you don't know why you're waking up anymore, you don't have something that you stand for, it makes life hard. People can get behind this by starting to ponder that question, because it's pondering questions like that that will start to provide fuel for the fire for, okay, once I figure out what it is that I am passionate about, what my purpose is, then I need to start figuring out what I can do to build the opportunity to be able to start to follow that without all of the holdbacks from life. And this system, if adopted on a large enough scale, will give people more time and more freedom of choice to be able to start to really consider what it is that we're excited about and what we stand for and what our purpose is. So yes, I will say right now, I publicly support what you and your team are doing, Kiri. And just like Lisa said, I don't care if it's the wrong horse. And I don't really, somebody said, well, what about your reputation? What? My reputation? I mean, come on. All I could do is use my own discernment and figure out what feels right and what I think is in the highest good and the greatest good of all. And I think that what you guys are doing is heroic. It is pioneering. I think that if you can even just offer the inspiration for others to go out and create things in various different channels and degrees and limbs of the tree, then we're going to get to where we want to go a whole heck of a lot faster. And so I really hope that as the days and the weeks and the months continue, more people will realize that it's tools that we need, but it's also a change of mindset. And it all starts and finishes right here and right there. You know, so bows to you guys. And I think that the education tool is going to be absolutely necessary. It can get messy if everybody is creating their own education tools. That's been done before on a place called YouTube, and messages have a tendency to get distorted when people are trying to create meaning for stuff they don't quite fully understand on their own. So one of the things that I think that can really kind of come out of this is a team of brilliant content creators, like Justin DeChamps, for example, who's, you know, an awesome writer. Yeah. And people that can create videos, little explainer videos, 60 to 90 seconds, maximum 2 to 3 minutes, to be able to really give a background of how the system works and why this is one of many answers that will come that will ultimately start presenting more solutions that people can stand behind and start to support, because it's all about value.
Yeah.
So nice work all the way around. That's my little rant. Do we have any more questions, Lisa?
I'm muted. Sorry.
No worries.
Just a question in regards to a comment that you made. The relevancy of the birth certificates leaving New Zealand and going to Ireland, and why do you feel the Pope returned them? What's the connection?
Our source had told us that the Pope went and picked them up, hence why our Governor General is having to fly over there and have a meeting with them. So if you don't know what John Key's
the Governor General wants to get them back.
No, he's been summoned there. He's been summoned by the Pope to go there. And this is all of that. Not everyone's bad. You know, there are people on that side that are actually more, not the baddies, but they're actually they've been guardians of something that we hold quite dear to us here in Aotearoa. You know, we come from a line of chiefs. We come from our tupuna were pioneers back in their days. They were also the administrators of those collateral accounts. So, you know, that's what a lot of people may not understand about the Māori people themselves, is that way back in the day, before even, who was the first ship to roll in? Abel Tasman. You know, back in the day, you know, I was raised with the story of James Cook. And so they said that, so when I went to school, they told me James Cook founded New Zealand.
Yeah, we get that story too.
So
with French maps.
It's a big brainwashing thing. I mean, how does James Cook found an island that's already inhabited?
It's easy. You just call it Terra Nullis.
So our tupuna, we come from a long line of chiefs and great chiefs at that. And they knew things that the naked eye couldn't see. They knew how to perform things that some people may call magic. So there was all of those attributes that came with our tupuna that were passed down to us through our bloodlines. Yeah, people need to understand that. They need to understand, you know, our tupuna were the pioneers back in the day. And we actually had, how many trading vessels did we have prior to colonisation? 150. There was 150 from the records. So we had 150 trading vessels prior to colonisation. You know, so these are some of the stories that you won't hear at school.
No.
And, you know, when people come here, they think that, oh, are those people that run around in grass skirts? You know, there's a lot of cliches, there's a lot of stereotypical things, but none of it's true. unless you've actually sat down with the people here in Aotearoa themselves and got it from them.
Okay, can I move on to another question? But thank you.
Yeah.
Is there information on the website that makes a reference to 50,000 credits?
Yeah, there should be. Let me have a look.
Okay, it
Also,
says, why would the... Oh, yeah,
I just want to mention the fact that, you know, we only just opened the doors up for registrations on the 6th. So as the days go by, the information is going to be made available. It's going to improve. It's going to get better. At the moment, what's in there should be reference to the 50,000, but it's broken up into different tabs. So if you scroll down to the blue bar down at the bottom, you'll be able to click on those and see, you know, what information is available in franchises and partnerships. What information, what are the terms and conditions? So you'll be able to see all that sort of stuff. But it's going to improve as the days go by, and our website team are updating that. So what happens is we put it all together here, and then we send it through to Auckland and they upload it. So, you know, if you've got stuff there that you feel needs to go onto our site, send us a message and say, hey, how about, you know, making this information available? Or how about putting a link in so we can, you know, for those that don't get the banking system, can actually go back and learn those things. But I'm not talking about just taking on anyone and everyone's information. I'm talking about sifting out the rubbish and taking on the facts and only employing the facts, because that way we're limiting the amount of propaganda that comes in that distracts us and deters us from the truth. Because there's a lot of propaganda out there, there's heaps. And what I had to do was sift through all of that stuff. And what I found was that only about 10% of it was true. The rest wasn't. The 90% was not. It was all false, and it was all propaganda designed to keep you away from the real door that you need to be knocking on.
Keep you running through a maze.
Yeah, it does. It is. It is a maze.
Well, the question I've got here is in reference to this 50,000, because I missed it when I was looking at the website. Why would the card need to be loaded annually with 50,000 plus 10%, and by whom? And if my intrinsic value, this is going back to the OPPT filings, is 10 billion, it would take me 200,000 years to cash out at 50,000 a year.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, get rid of that whole $10 billion thought, because once again, you're limiting yourself. Now, what was the first question that you asked?
Why is it only 50,000 a year?
Oh, they're just blueprints. They're blueprints that are set. And the credit lines are processed by your local community. So if you've got a branch, let's say 2D sets up a branch in Sydney, everyone around that area will register to that. So it'll be that community looking after those members. So you're a community and you're looking after your own members.
So that's the other thing. Franchises, how are they being allocated? Is it based on geography? Is it based on postal code? Is it, how are you going to decide in terms of territories?
Yeah, it'll be geography. Yeah.
Postal codes or current suburbs, or?
Well, it probably could work in postcodes. It probably could work in postcodes, but it's really your geographical region, those sorts of things. So like here in Northland's, you know, probably only 10% of the country, but already we could have a branch in Kiri, a branch in Kaikohe, one in Whangarei. So it's sort of just based on your community or your region or your area.
Yep, whatever works locally. Yeah.
You just got to find what works. You know, that's the problem with people, is that they're too busy trying to, you know, take on board someone else and what they're saying. I mean, find what works with you. That's what worked for us. But you might come along and go, well, I can do it better because I've thought of a better way, you know. And as long as you're not breaching any of those terms and conditions of don't cause any harm to anyone, don't injure anyone, don't steal from anyone, don't lead anyone up the garden path, as long as you're sort of following those things. And if you say you're going to provide something, do it. And don't abuse the systems. That's all they really need to know. But otherwise, you've got to find what works for you. Just because we say it's this doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that. It's just whatever works for you and your community. And if you're not sure, come back to us and say, hey, Kiri, you know, this is our scenario, and this is what we were thinking of doing. how would we be able to achieve that, or how could that work with us? And then we look at problem solving. And the best thing that we're really good at is providing solutions. And we really need to train more people into the action of being able to be a solutions provider rather than someone that comes up with all the problems all the time. The thing is with problems is that's a beacon to say, oh, there's a hole in your ship. It's not about the hole, it's about plugging the hole up. It saves the ship from sinking. So we need to get people into that mindset. And anyone that's not, they're still caught up in their matters. They're still caught up in their belief patterns and their systems that they've learned all their lives. And they need to clean that out and erase all of that stuff, because it's been infected. Your brain and your mind was infected right from pretty much, being born. So you just need to sort of clean it out and start with a fresh mindset.
Kiri, one more question. I agree with that. Very well said. For the franchises, can they set the annual credit limit you said earlier, based upon, for example, cost of goods and whatever in Australia is going to be way higher than cost of goods in Mexico. So that can be set based on average annual revenue,
Yeah, it's based on what the needs are. So if your needs are a little bit higher, then obviously there's a give and take there. We're just setting a blueprint, that's all, or a baseline to work from, a margin, I suppose.
Okay. How are you going with your questions list, Brian?
That's pretty much it. I've kind of given everybody an opportunity in a couple of these rooms to ask any last minute questions, and they, for the most part, seem to be pretty satisfied.
Okay, I'll do the same in the chat room. If you're in the chat room at Lisa M. Harrison, now's the time to put in any final questions. Just want to confirm, you haven't actually had any big major retailers sign up yet, have you?
We do have a major retailer behind us. We won't mention their name on live TV until we've finished signing. And then we'll actually attach them to the website so that you'll know who they are. But
Can you give us even a little hint into the industry?
They intend on supplying us with our grocery line.
Nice. Is that a New Zealand chain only, or is that potentially a global chain?
Actually, no, they've got businesses all around the world. So they've got offices around the world.
That's going to make people very, very...
In fact, Lisa's going to get off the show. She's going to message me and go, right, tell me.
Oh, you're in trouble now. Okay. And you planned business dinners. What's the story there?
Yeah.
When are they planned on happening?
Our next business dinner? Friday. It's the 20th.
Next Friday.
6 days. 6 days and counting.
All right, nice. All answered. Nope. Oh, okay. I'm going to go to the chat room because that list is all done. And no, nothing new in the chat room. This is your last chance, guys, because she's going.
Going once. Going twice. Only because we've got our team here that we're waiting to continue on with our night.
Well, thank you for giving us the last hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's all right. We need to invite the world in so that they can see this, so that they get the facts, the undistorted ones. So no, thank you. Thank you for making you guys yourselves available. Thank you to Mel and Biggie. Thank you, BK.
Oh, just a thought. If a story does get published tomorrow in your mainstream media Herald, it will be on their internet version, their online version, their newspaper. So send me a link. If they do a hatchet job, we can have our own little kind of flash mob that we used to do.
Of course we do.
And we can go and leave multiple comments at that website. And cause a bit of ruckus. We can do that.
Thank you, team. Thank you, team. All righty.
If the story's published and it's not nice and it's not true, and let us know.
Yeah. Hey, and I just want to thank the listeners that have been tuning in. Without you guys, you know, all of the support, we're just blown away by the support. And it's really, you guys are fueling us with the strength and the courage to just power on, full steam ahead. So we just want to say thank you to the listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for supporting this. Just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, thank you. And once again, your opening, your songs, you sent chills down spines. So it was beautiful. And Brian's dropped off.
That's
But I'm going to say goodbye from him as well. You're going to have to, we might have to just cut that little piece out separate and just let that go around.
Yeah, that's all right. Too late, it's
gorgeous. No, we can do both. Yeah. All right. Thanks again, darling.
No, thank you.
Thanks to everybody in the room. Sorry that we interrupted your work. By all means, get back to it. We need you to. So have a great night. And thank you to everybody in the chat room. Thanks everybody who submitted questions. We will do this again real soon. I know we will. So
absolutely. Remember, we decided that it should be a credit exchange show.
Well, you should absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Good talking with you.
Always. Bye, darling.
See you later.
Bye.